Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube, and today we're going to be talking CKB and Ergo. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for 7,000 subscribers. Thank you for always smashing that like button. I feel like I always have somebody here watching my back. And I just want to go ahead and ask everyone to participate in an 11-second moment of silence to honor the victims and survivors of 9/11. So thank you all for participating in that with me. What a terrible day we all remember so vividly. Let's get into CKB on a 12-hour chart. One thing that I'm still liking about this is that we are holding our golden cross, and I can't help but to notice that we are kind of seeing the same inverse head and shoulders pattern that formed back here leading to this run-up happen right now. So we could be fixing to see CKB retest this 4.5 cent level and then some. With that said, I want to look at some of the catalysts that slingshot CKB to this 4.5 cent level back in March. So let's just measure off this high here to this low here. And one impressive thing is that CKB ran up through all of the Fibonacci extensions that I have up on the screen. This is incredible. But we can see that this 476 was really the roof of where CKB could climb to at that time. Now, it did wick over to the 4.5 cent level, but we went from 0.0026, and I wish I would have known about CKB during this time, all the way up to the 4.5 cent level. I don't even know how many X that is. Somebody put it in the comments if you're good at math. I'm good at math, I just don't feel like doing it right now. But with that said, let's see what CKB would be looking at if it went through the same intensity and velocity as it did the last run up that it had. So measuring from this wick here down to this wick here, we can see that if this thing tries for the 476, an 18 cent or 20 cent CKB could be very well possible. And even if we come down and measure from this low here, bingo, we are seeing a 20 cent CKB. This is not financial or trading advice. By the way, this is all contingent on perfect market conditions, especially with Bitcoin, and this is not a certain possibility at all. This is speculative. I want everybody to understand that. So the 100% is at this point 0.446861-ish area. I would love to see CKB. I think everybody wants to see this 10 cent level. We're ready for it. I think we would welcome a 200% rip up to the 0.087 cent level. I do think that 8 to 10 cents is kind of within everybody's expectation of a possibility of hitting this year, but I'm not trying to get people excited that it could happen or that it will happen. We are just kind of looking at a bigger picture and speculating. One thing that I can't help but to notice is we have this kind of inverse head and shoulders pattern here that really led to the run-up. We kind of have some similar pattern here. Again, we had the huge Voyager edition of CKB back in February. We can see that here. We can see that there's been CKB has been added to some Japanese exchanges, some Chinese exchanges, and some Australian exchanges here in the last month, and that's kind of what this shakeup is here. On the 12-hour chart, we are above the cloud. This is exactly where I want to see CKB. The lows are getting higher, and the highs are getting higher. So that is a good sign as well. At this point in time, as long as Bitcoin and the rest of the market cooperates, I would see no reason for CKB to really fail at this level. We can go ahead and ignore this wick up here because this was a simple addition of CKB to some exchanges and kind of acted as an outside anomaly, a two-price action. With that said, we can kind of see how CKB is in this ascending triangle formation. So I'm hoping by October we might see CKB starting to rip up to the upside, hopefully. And that's all very contingent on Bitcoin and Ethereum, things like that. Playing ball, so to speak, with CKB and the rest of the market. It does stink that Bitcoin has 1 trillion market cap and really just under 50% of the entire crypto market cap. So when that thing swings, the rest of the market is going to follow suit. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. Let's see here. And we can kind of get some Fibonacci time sequence showing up right around September 23rd. And I'm hoping that this is some sort of break from this ascending triangle or some sort of reversal pattern in Elliott wave theory. And I'm hoping this rips to the upside, and I'm hoping that we don't see some sort of mega corrective wave happen. Of course, that is a possibility if a corrective wave hits us. No question about it. In my own opinion, we are heading down to that penny level somewhere in there. But things are looking good for the most part right now. So with that said, I do think CKB is in a good spot right now. Let's go ahead and just, oh my goodness gracious. Oh my, having keyboard malfunctions right now. Let's look at a good old shift pitchfork and just kind of see where CKB is at as far as tangling with price action and the shift pitchfork. It's interesting to me that when we dice this pitchfork up like this, we are nearly seeing, well, we're going to just tighten this up here. I like my indicators as tight as possible. But it is interesting to see how CKB right now is on the resistance side of this shift pitchfork. But what's interesting to me is how this upper trend line, this median line, and this Fibonacci time zone all kind of come together in the same spot. And we might be seeing CKB at a super high level actually be gearing up for an exit to the top side September 23rd around, let's really dial this in, because I love making these wild predictions down to within a couple hours. So that looks pretty good to me. And it's interesting that still this Fibonacci time sequence is showing up around September 27th. So keep that in mind. Somewhere around September 23rd or on September 27th around 10 a.m., we may see a reversal in price action to the downside, to the upside. We may see CKB kind of do one of these and then make its move up. I mean, there's all sorts of theories and possibilities we could go over that we're not going to do because this time sequence on September 27th is acting as some sort of market movement, an indication of a big market movement. And we can see in past time sequence that we were warned of big market movement here. The bottom fell off. Same with right here. We were warned of a reversal. And same with right here. We were within a couple days of a reversal. So with these last 3 Fibonacci time sequence being 100% accurate, I'm not saying September 27th around 9 to, noon is going to be accurate. But, within a day, we might expect to see some major market movement head upward to the upside. And maybe it will be CKB filling out this little ascending triangle that could be in the works. Who knows? We just have to wait and see what price action does. So my overall sentiment on CKB is that I'm bullish at this point as long as Bitcoin, ETH, some of those other ones stay relevant and healthy in the market. Let's look at Ergo. This one's for you, Urban Hick, and thank you. We are now viewing Ergo. Looks like TradingView added it recently because I have looked for it. Maybe I wasn't looking at the right one, but Ergo is sitting at $17.78. I kind of took a peek at this before the video because I've never looked at an Ergo chart. We do have some sort of ascending triangle with Ergo forming, and this is great to see, especially for Urban Hick. But I do see some indications that we may come back down to retest this lower trend line, but this is looking good. I mean, I may even pick up a small bag of Ergo. I'm not saying that you should, and this is not financial advice at all, but we can kind of see price action trending back downwards on the 4-hour chart. It wouldn't surprise me to see Ergo bounce off this trend line here. Let's go ahead and see. This is kind of a new chart here. So let's go ahead and kind of speculate on what kind of prices we could see Ergo pulling off here. And this is interesting to me how time sequence and extensions and retracement really play into the market. So from here, I would like to see the 161.8. I would like to see this $28 level hit. From here, we might experience some resistance around $23.44, $28.40, $30.58, $33.87 at a 200% markup from recent highs. One thing I don't like about this is that we have triple tops on the chart. So we can see that. This is a 4-hour chart. So depending on whether or not Ergo comes down and bounces off this 50 and 200 moving average at this 78.6 level is beyond me. We may see some wicks down to the 15s, but I don't know. I'm kind of liking this setup right now. Let's see if we can pull off any time sequence. So if you're trading Ergo, you might look for, man, I'm not comfortable with that time sequence. Let's measure this swing high to this swing low. Looks like we could have a potential reversal point September 13th within, I want to say, 6 hours of 3 a.m. Central Time. We could have a reversal point September 18th within, it's going to say 6 hours of 3 p.m. Central Time. And we can kind of see how we may be fixing to make some sort of move to the upside here. I hope the best for Ergo happens. Let's just look at a daily chart. There's not that much data here, so I'm not sure if we will really be able to see much. Some really nice bullish engulfing candles to the north side. This could be good for Ergo as well. We might see a break happen a little earlier than we expect. There is just not a whole lot of data for me here to work with, like there is, for Bitcoin, anything like that. But I do think that we may see Ergo retrace down to this $16.50 level, by September 13th around 3 a.m.-ish, somewhere in there. Hopefully it reverses at that point. Let's look at Bitcoin, folks, because Bitcoin is what is moving the market right now, and this video is already going long. We can see that Bitcoin is still kind of in this symmetrical triangle formation, And with that said, usually we will see a continuation of the previous trend. And this is not a good thing to be seen on the chart, but Bitcoin is trying to buy time. Within the next couple days, if it holds to this symmetrical triangle, we might see Bitcoin squeeze in right around midday September 14th in the United States, Central Time. We may see a market move for Bitcoin. And this could be one of the last straws before we decide to go back up or down. I want to look at this on a 12-hour and daily chart. We can see these spinning tops. This is the bulls and the bears buying and selling at almost the same rate. In the 12-hour chart, the bulls are barely winning. If they run out of steam, we will come down and retest this $40,000 level, in my opinion. Let's look at Bitcoin on the daily. And man, this is getting close. This is getting close. We really don't want to see any wicks into this Ichimoku cloud. When you poke the cloud, bad things happen. But the closer we get to this cloud, the more likely we have a chance for a bounce. And we are seeing Bitcoin pull off this golden cross almost right now. And like I said, my biggest fear is to see this 50 moving average just come up enough for price action to death cross the hell out of it and go flying into this cloud. I want to look at Bitcoin on the weekly. Oh man, it looks like we have an hour and 6 minutes left before the close. I will update my community section, and I will also throw out a tweet here in a couple hours to inform everyone of what Bitcoin has done on the weekly. If this thing does close red, I have a very bad feeling about that. But I would love to see Bitcoin kind of step off this cloud here. Unfortunately, in previous videos, if you've watched, there hasn't been any history of Bitcoin on the weekly chart defying this one-time bounce and then seeing price slip into the bear market. So until that happens, we could only assume, right, that Bitcoin could be kind of filling out some sort of descending triangle to this bottom side here, and we might see the 200 or something recheck with price action maybe next summer. With that said, folks, this market right now is really a flip of the coin, in my opinion, and I do apologize that this video went 18 minutes long. We took a day off, right? So we're playing catch up. To Urban Hick, thank you for suggesting Ergo. Looks like a good chart, man. And as long as Bitcoin doesn't slip away, I do think Ergo might be something to look into. I know I might pick up a little tiny bag of it if Bitcoin starts going to the upside. With that said, folks, thank you all to my Patreons. You guys are wonderful. And I do want to thank each and every one of you. In addition to that, I have partnered with a couple people to ask, kind of do an AMA with some of the Nervous Network developers. So once the details, get finalized, I will let you know the channels that you will be able to find that interview, where we ask some questions to the devs, will be things of that nature. With that said, folks, I'm tired. I've been traveling. I'm all beat up. So we'll throw the hat into the ring for today. And tomorrow we'll be back in full force to check out the market. Hope you guys all have a wonderful night.